Okay, let's do it. Good morning, everybody. Hello, I'm Louise Hay from BeHealing.com. Welcome to Psychic Cafe. I'm going to be talking about twin flames, divine masculine, divine feminine. We'll be doing some cards, but not before I tell you what I found out. So I'll wait for some people to come in before I start. Hey, Luana. Wait for some more of you to come in before I start, but I've come across some information that just makes everything make so much sense. All of it. Like, seriously, when you just you come across that information that makes everything make so much sense. And you're like, that's it. That's it. So I'm going to be talking about that this morning, how it pertains to twin flames as we know it. And us, and our healing, and all of this information, and why it's been coming out flip-flopping as well. It's someone new, it's that person. Because I'm always reading the energies. Always reading the energies. And there's a particular dynamic that's going on, which is very easily explained, that causes us to be in and out like this, to be focused on them, not focused on them. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Maria. So let's get into it. Well, interestingly, at the weekend, I did a private reading. And in that private reading, can't remember who it was for now, but in that private reading, I heard, look into anxious attachment. And I put it in the reading. Little did I know it was for me too to look into that. Anyway, hey Elise. Anyway, I listened to a podcast, Andrew Huberman podcast. I listen to him a lot. But one podcast led to another, which led to another. And I think I posted one of them in the cafe club. And I did, in fact. Hey, Deborah. And about attachment, about how we make bonds, about how we pick partners, about how that breaks up and all of that kind of stuff. The science of it, right? Found it very interesting but he mentioned a book, and he mentioned a book saying this should be essential reading for everybody. It should be essential reading for everybody because everybody wants to get into relationships. Everybody. It's a human condition. And this is the book. And I started reading it yesterday. I had it for 2 days. I bought it 2 days ago because as soon as he said it, I bought it. And I started reading it last night just because I didn't have time the day before. I was too busy. Hi, Delia. It's called Attached, and it's by Dr. Amir Levine and Rachel Heller. Are you anxious, avoidant, or secure? Well, you've probably heard of these terms before, but I don't know whether you've looked into it. If you have looked into it, you haven't. Because if you have looked into it, then you wouldn't be here listening to me anymore to hear this. Are you anxious, avoidant, or secure? How the science of adult attachment can help you find and keep love. So not only did I start reading this last night, but then I had to sleep. I woke up at like 3:30 and I kept on reading it again. Because I will read it again once I'm done reading it too. Because it just makes everything make so much sense. Oh my God. You need to read this. You all need to read this, right? A little bit into the book, there's a questionnaire. I put a link in a comment here to get it. Here, I'll put it on again. I've got so many ahas through it, and it's ahas that we've already been getting through this from the guides. But it brings it all together. And it brings together why in my readings it's been back and forth and back and forth. So there's anxious, avoidant, and secure types. And it very much depends on your childhood, as we can imagine. The way that your parents were with you, and if you formed secure attachments with them or not. It's not everything. There is a genetic part of it too. Some families are predisposed to certain types. And also, your type can be changed as well through either healing yourself or through, if you're secure or you were secure and you get into a bad relationship, an abusive relationship, or a relationship with the other types, you can start getting traits of another type. Now, a little bit into this book, they give you a questionnaire to fill in. And it's actually on the Kindle version. You can't see it. The type is really tiny and you can't expand on Kindle. So I clicked the link instead to go to the website and take the quiz. And I took the quiz, and in the quiz, it has you answer all these questions. Firstly, about your mother, about your connection with your mother, then about the connection with your father, then about connection with partner, or most recent partner, if you're single, and then friends, right? And it tells you what your attachment type is from that. Now, I'll tell you what my results were. With mother and father, extremely anxious and extremely avoidant. Of course, abusers, will be, right? So I started out in life as extremely anxious in relationships and extremely avoidant. I know that. I was almost catatonic, could hardly function, scared of everyone. My nurturing environment wasn't at all nurturing. But I can look back, I can see that I tended more toward the anxious type, and the anxious type does want to get into relationships. The avoidant type wants to get into relationships too, but then they push them away as soon as the intimacy happens, or the intimacy grows, or gets, developed at all. They push them away. Now, from reading this so far, I'm not completely through with it yet, but I can see myself, that the healing that I've done on myself has been taking me from the avoidant. I've hardly got any avoidant in me now. And from anxious to secure, attached. That's what I've been doing as I've been healing myself. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that's what I was doing, but that's what I've been doing. And so even though I'm an anxious type, I'm hardly that anymore. And okay, I just got so many thoughts about this. I don't know how to explain it best to you as it pertains to these readings and what I've realized. Some of you, perhaps all of you, have had relationships with narcissists or abusers. Narcissists and abusers are always avoidant types. All avoidant types aren't always narcissists or abusers, though. Chances are that the person that you think is your twin flame is also an avoidant type. Perhaps not an abuser or a narcissist, but an avoidant type. And they show signs of that. Now, you need to take the quiz yourself to find out what you are. Some of you will have a mix, right, of avoidant and anxious, as I did previously, don't anymore. I'm more of a mix of secure and anxious now. But the anxious type that I would say predominantly I've been in since I left my family. So since my 20s, I've predominantly been anxious. And I was anxious in friendships too. Now I'm secure in friendships. And I've been secure in friendships, maybe the past few years. Perhaps since being on this island, perhaps a little bit before that. But in my love life, predominantly anxious until very recently. Now, anxious types, they can't be alone like I am at the moment. And saying that I'm alone is also a little bit false too, because I recognize that I always have a target. I always have someone that I'm thinking of, right? So really, I'm attached. But I'm doing it through readings and through connecting with their energy instead of actually having a relationship with them. Anxious attachment types, of course, as in the name it says that you're anxious about it. It means when you're connecting with somebody, you're very astute to what's going on with them, a little bit too much so. And so if there's any sign of them pushing or disconnecting in any kind of way, you kind of want to pull them back in. And you want to pull them back in, you want to get that reassurance kind of thing. And that inclination keeps us attached and trying to stay attached to an avoidant or someone that's showing signs of, it doesn't have to be an avoidant. You can push away a relationship for other reasons. It doesn't mean that you're an avoidant by doing that. So we are prone as anxious attachers to stick by relationships for way too long when there's red flags and all kinds of things, because we ask ourselves, what's wrong with me? We always kind of put it on ourselves, right? We take it very personally, other people's stuff, and we know that, right? We know that. We've been told that by the guides. Avoidance, they are in fear too, right? Everyone wants to connect. It's a human thing, trait. So they will try and connect. They will try. But as soon as it starts getting in any kind of depth at all, they'll push away. Does that sound familiar with twin flames? I'm pretty sure now the twin flame thing that we know of is just an anxious attacher with an avoidant attacher and the dynamics that are in play there. I'm pretty certain of it. I'm pretty certain of it. And so the avoidants, they have certain traits and you can see it up front. And I was talking to my friend about it last night and I said, do you think my one is avoidant? He's like, hello? He's like, well, tell us the things that he's been doing. He made an approach to me, wanted to connect, and then as soon as I wanted to talk to him about it, never had a message from him since. That is like the most avoidant. Avoidance, they do get into relationships. Some people, I don't know how they manage it, but they do. And it's like they're in a relationship, but they're not in a relationship. Very much independent within that relationship. Very much not giving their partner the emotional stuff that they need at all. Pulling away all the time. The ones that have loads of affairs. Now, here's the trouble. Secure attachment, of course. Secure attachment is like the stuff that the guys have been telling us, the one that I've become now, mostly, and will become very soon, is the kind that's just like reasonable and secure in relationships, you know. Someone does something and you talk to them about it. You don't project. Anxious ones project and they will go off at the other one. The secure ones don't do that. You know, they see things as being a cry for help or a cry for attachment or whatever, or a projection, and you know. So the two secure people come together, they will stay together generally, unless there's some like external other thing, incompatibility or something like that. They'll generally stay together. So the dating pool doesn't have very many secure attachers in it at all. The dating pool is predominantly avoidance. Anxious attachers can get into relationships and will stay in them too. The dating pool, let me say that again, the dating pool is predominantly avoidant attachers. And now that's a problem, isn't it, for anxious attachers, because we get out there and that feeds into it. Everyone we meet, most of them, and we get attached straight away. And then it's like, oh my God, it's another one of these. What's wrong with me? Nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. So I have incorrectly been saying that the majority of people can't have good relationships. That's not true. The majority of available people in the dating pool cannot have good relationships. And you need to know that. You need to know that. Well, you should be doing the dating pool. This is what I'm learning now. This book tells, when you get into a short way into this book, it says, when it explains about anxious attachers, it says, and this book is written for you guys, and it's us that it's written for. Because we're the ones that have the best intentions and can do it, and we're the ones that find ourselves not getting the relationships that we want. And it gives you the what you should do instead kind of thing in this book. And it's like, the thing is, it's what the guides have been saying. That's the thing. It's what the guides have been saying. It's like suddenly I've opened up. I went to the other gym and I'm approaching people now. I'm finding out, expressing my needs straight away to find out if they are. And as soon as they say that they're not, cool. And the first one that I picked to do that with is actually a connect. It's a secure one. I'm presuming, or maybe anxious, but someone that connects, because they got back to me straight away, and there was that back and forth. There was no games; they were just straight away, and not resistant to it, not laughing at me for it or projecting anything on me at all. So I picked good. I picked good, but it's just a matter of going through them all. And because we attach so fast to people, that's why we need to do the dating pool. That's why we need to go, okay, well, I'm going to get to know many, many people so that we can't attach to one of them. And armed with the knowledge, when you've read this book, because honestly, you need to read this book. As I said, I'm going to read it again as soon as I've finished it, because this information, it's just like a handbook of how to have relationships when you're like us. Oh my God. So the antidote is that, and another few things as well, especially noticing what types they are and seeing the signs, and knowing that if you're an anxious attacher, there's no way you can be with an avoidant. And twin flame, that dynamic that we're talking about, and it's what I said before. I didn't believe it in it at first, and I said, what they're explaining is just dysfunction. It's just dysfunctional relationships. And there I am again. Twin flame. It's just dysfunctional relationships, and it's this particular type of dysfunctional relationship. Now, avoidance, probably shouldn't tell you this, but avoidance can actually become anxious and then secure attachers. But, and we know this, they need to instigate that themselves. Whenever healing cannot be done to us. We can't be given it by someone else. It needs to be instigated within ourselves. So there is hope for them, but only if they instigate it. And the very fact that they're avoidant means that they won't instigate it, because they're not just avoidant in romantic relationships, they're avoidant in all relationships. They don't get close to people. They're not going to get close to a therapist to even let that happen. When you read about the avoidance, you'll think about narcissist partners that you've had, for sure, because they all are. But like I said, they're not all. I have had relationships with avoidance before, and yeah, the one that I've been focused on, absolutely avoidant, like to the extreme. It's just like he's just everything that the book says about, and it's like, oh my God, yeah. As soon as I tried to like talk about it, that's when he backed right off. And then he comes back in. Once I back off, he comes back in again. They say it's a twin flame dynamic. It's not about twin flames at all. It's just this dynamic is all. So the dating pool, you've got people who just want short term, right? A lot of the avoidance will be those people as well. And then people that want long term. So you're only looking for the ones that want long term, right? And then, and that's tricky too, because the men that want the short term ones have cottoned on to this, and so they'll pretend to want to have a long term. But if you read this book, you will be able to recognize the avoidance and recognize their patterns straight away. And what it says is that healthy attachment people will Healthy, healthy attachment people, which I'm moving toward now. But we don't need to do that. There's nothing wrong with being an anxious type at all. Just need to find a good relationship is all. And when you find a good relationship, of which I've had one with Jared, that was a good one, then you will flourish. And I did. I flourished in that relationship. Here's the other thing too. It gives you high blood pressure, not being in a relationship when you're an anxious type. It gives you worse high blood pressure, as I can attest, as I've seen in the last year, when an avoidant type comes towards you. It really rattles us. It really rattles us. But we try and persist in that, and we shouldn't. So a secure person will see those signs, realize they're not getting their needs met very, very soon. Like, as in, if the person doesn't call you the next day after a date, if it's 2 days later, they won't respond to that. That's like, no, this person, they can't leave me 2 days wondering. That's not nice to me. That's not nice to my heart. That's someone playing games, right? That's someone playing games. So they cut those people out straight away. And I'm getting much better at doing that now. But I will be much better at it now. I've read this for sure. There's something I wanted to read. How can I find the bookmark? I put a bookmark somewhere. Perhaps it got rid of it. Wait. So why I wanted to talk about, of course I wanted to talk about it because it's the reality behind it all. But I thought, well, does this mean that my readings are completely wrong then? And it's like, no. My guide said no. But you're correctly reading the energy of the connection and then the disconnection, the connection and the disconnection, which is why it's that roller coaster, and it's why there's never an end to it. And the incorrect information that I've been given out is just wait, is have patience and just wait. How many times have we had that card, and how much has it annoyed us? We should notice that feeling instead of ignoring that feeling. We should notice all the feelings instead of ignoring them. Hey, Linda. Hang on. So yeah, there's a lot of things that the avoidants do. So beware of attachment stereotyping. It's not true that like all men are avoidant and all women are anxious. It's not true. There's quite a mix, in fact. Apparently 50% of people are healthy. How about that? Healthy attachers. It's just that the dating pool is full of these avoidants and anxious. Anxious are more likely not to be the dating though, as we know. Here you go, let me read this bit. Smoking guns that indicate you're dating someone avoidant. They send mixed messages. Yep. About the feelings towards you, about the commitment to you. Either one. They long for an ideal relationship. Desperately want to meet the one. See, some of you have got avoidant in you. But somehow always finds fault in the other person or in the circumstances that makes commitment impossible. Disregards your emotional well-being, and when confronted, continues to disregard it. Even when you talk about it, doesn't make any difference. They still disregard it. They suggest that you're too needy, sensitive, or overreacting, thus invalidating your feelings and making you second-guess yourself. There is nothing wrong with wanting attachment. It's a normal human thing to want to be in a relationship and to be validated by the person and for them to be there for you and for us to be there for them. You deserve that. Ignores things that you say that inconvenience him or her. They don't respond, or they change the topic, so they just ignore. Right? I know, it's 100% with mine too. Addresses your concerns as in a court of law kind of a way, responding to facts without taking your feelings into account. So completely shutting down your feelings and talking about facts to override it, a kind of a gaslighting kind of thing. So you see how a lot of these, you'll think of narcissists, right, when you hear a lot of these things, because narcissists absolutely do all of this stuff. Your messages don't get across despite your best efforts to communicate your needs. They don't seem to get the message, or they ignore it. Note that it's not specific behaviors that threaten to become smoking guns, but rather an emotional stance, the ambiguity about the relationship. Yes. We need to stay away from this type of people. They're not going to have good relationships. And I don't even know how they're going to fix it. Now, I did, you see. I started out as that. I started out as avoidant because with two avoidant parents, abusive, narcissistic parents. But I still had that urge in me to persist in relationships, you know. Anyway, there was something that I really wanted to, and I put a bookmark on it, but I can't find it now. Here you go. If you're anxious, you should be dating someone secure because you want closeness and intimacy, and they are comfortable with closeness and don't try to push you away. You're very sensitive to any signs of rejection. You've got a vigilant attachment system, and they are very consistent and reliable and won't send mixed messages that will upset you. If you become distressed, they'll know how to reassure you. Like the guides were saying, this person, the new one, remember, the new one will ask you out, and they will message you, and they will get your number, and then they'll ask you out the next day. They will do that. That's what the guides were saying. The new one will. The twin flame won't. They're not a twin flame. They're an avoidant. You find it hard to tell them directly what you need and what's bothering you. So we have trouble effectively communicating, right? And use protest behavior instead. And so a bit of game playing as in, I need to make up an excuse of why to get in touch with my person. It needs to be about something else and not about my emotional neediness. That's game playing, right? There's nothing wrong with emotional neediness. We have got emotional neediness. Every single human being has got emotional neediness, and there's nothing wrong with that. We don't need to hide it and play games. Don't need to come up with an excuse of why to get in touch with them in order to get your needs met. Protest behavior is when you blow up at them and start projecting them on them instead. So, you know, have a hissy fit kind of thing, and if they won't, and until they hold your hand or until they tell you that they love you or something like that. They see your well-being as a top priority and do their best to read your verbal and non-verbal cues. You need to be reassured and feel loved. Every human being does. They feel comfortable telling you how they feel very early on in a consistent manner. You need to know exactly where you stand in the relationship, and they are very stable. They'll feel comfortable with commitment. You need to know these things, you see, how to have a healthy relationship. Here you go. If you're anxious, you should not be dating someone who is avoidant because you want closeness and intimacy. They want to maintain distance, and emotional and or physical. You are very sensitive to any signs of rejection. They send mixed signals that often comes across as rejecting. You find it hard to tell them directly what you need and what's bothering you. And they're bad at reading your verbal and non-verbal cues and don't think it's their responsibility to do so anyway. You need to be reassured and feel loved. They tend to put you down to create distance as a means to deactivate their attachment system. So they've got like big fears going on. As soon as things get close, they're like, too much. You need to know exactly where you stand in the relationship. They prefer to keep things fuzzy. Even if your relationship is very serious, some question marks still remain. You need to read this book. But that's not the bit that I was wanting to read out. Understanding the attachment system is crucial for people with an anxious attachment style. Therein lies their chance for a happy, fulfilling relationship. If you don't, you'll never have one. If you don't, you will continually go to avoidant types. You're actually attracted to avoidant types. The avoidant types can come across as interesting, and we can actually think that it's love, that feeling of yearning for them, the one that will not connect. Okay, I won't go into that. It's so interesting. Oh, here it is. Activating strategies. Let me find it here. Right, so once we're activated, once anxious attachers are activated, meaning the other person has done something, or we're consumed with thoughts that have a single purpose: to re-establish closeness with their partner. These thoughts are called activating strategies. These readings are an activating strategy. We are connecting. We are getting the confirmation that we need through these readings. The soothing that we feel when these readings say they're coming or whatever is enabling us to carry on with it. Activating strategies are any thoughts or feelings that compel you to get close, physically or emotionally, to your partner. Readings have been doing it. Once he or she responds to you in a way that reestablishes security, you revert back to your calm, normal self. Not for long now, not with an avoidant. So activating strategies are thoughts and feelings that compel you to seek closeness with your partners. Thinking about your mate, difficulty concentrating on other things, remembering only their good qualities, putting them on a pedestal, underestimating your talents and abilities and overestimating theirs. An anxious feeling that goes away only when you're in contact with them. Believing that this is your only chance for love, as in, I'm only compatible with very few people. What are the chances I'll find a person like him or her? Now, that has been my downfall with this one. This is why I think this one is my twin flame. That's why I thought this one is my twin flame. I don't anymore. Is because we are very compatible, as in, we like the same things. We are both early birds, morning people. We are very, very motivated, self-motivated, and self-disciplined, and all of that. So there's a lot of compatibility there. So I thought that I'm only compatible with very few people. I still think that, but I think there's every chance that I'll find someone better now. And also it takes years to meet someone new. I'll end up alone. In fact, it doesn't. It takes seconds to meet someone new, really, especially now. Believing that even though you're unhappy, you'd better not let go, as in, if he leaves me, he'll turn into a great partner for someone else. No, they won't. And I tell you, those ones like mine, who's in a relationship, those relationships are messed up. Someone said something else then. They are messed up, and I can see that, and they're not going to be any different with you, because it's their avoidance style that's causing that. It's not that they're with someone that's incompatible with them. They might be. In fact, they probably are with someone incompatible with them, and they will have chosen it that way to keep someone in the relationship with them. It's the only way that they can keep them there. Someone that's way below them. It's the only way that they can have a relationship, is that instead of like partner matching, being on the same level, which means that they'd have to connect properly and have a good emotional relationship with that person. Instead, they choose down from them, so that someone has got a need to be in that relationship, financial need for some of them. But yeah, that's the only reason someone will stay in a relationship with them, because they're not getting their emotional needs met. And that is like obvious when you hear that, right? It's obvious. When you read this book, it'll all be like, oh my God. Like I'm doing now. It's like, oh my God. He can change. The story I was telling myself is, oh, he's just being avoidant. He's just not responding because he's married, right? And he doesn't want to. He's doing the right thing. It's not that at all. It's not that at all, you know? Because I just approached someone who has been 9 years in a relationship, and he wasn't like that with me. He was upfront with me, and he was even told me that he liked me and all of this. He was affirming me and telling me that he's in a long-term relationship. How very different than the twin flame, the avoidant one that I've been focused on. Very different. So it's not true. It's just not true. They're not going to change. All couples have problems. We're not special in that regard. Well, yeah, but not as many problems as that. So, read this book. Read it. Because I am. And I'm going to read it again. And oh my God. So there's that, which puts a very different slant on my readings, including the energy update today, which was about the final decree coming through. And when I listened to that, and I was, of course, my old self a few weeks ago, when I recorded that video, thinking that what it was saying was that the divorce has finally come through and it's all on now, kind of thing. And that's not what it is at all. The energies today is me setting myself free. It's called attachment. Here you go. It's called attachment. I'll give you the link to it. It's easier. Attached. Yeah, attached. Sorry, not attachment. Attached. And as I said, you can take the quiz online and find out what you actually are, because you'll be a mix. We're all a mix. Some kind of a mix. But we can stop banging our heads against the wall now and actually read properly. I can read properly now of the energies for us not to get in these situations. See, I knew it. I knew it years ago. I never believed in twin flames because everything I'd heard about them, it's just like, well, that's just dysfunction. It's just dysfunction is all it is. Until I met this one, and then I was like, oh. I got caught in the trap because I'm still not completely out of the anxious. The good thing is as well, it also tells you how to get from anxious to secure. We can. I've made major shifts in my life. I can tell. Well, yeah, because when I do it about my parents, I was like red zone anxious and avoidant. Hey, Elise. Check out the pinned comment, the comment that's pinned up top of the live chat for those mini reads. Delia, should you renew the restraining order against your ex? Should you? And a message card about it. Yes, you should. Renew it. A message card, like one of these. And how interesting that I recorded all the readings up until the end of the year as well. I did, like, the last one that I've recorded is New Year's Eve. And today I start the new year with a very different tone. It's going to change everything. It's going to change everything in my readings. Yeah, they're still emotional when they think of you. That's another thing too. When we've been, all of the avoidance that we've been attached to, we'll still want to be in relationship with us. They'll come back and they'll come back and they'll come back because they can't get into good relationships, you see. They can't. And so you need to be really thick-skinned against them. Really thick-skinned against them. They're not good for us. So yeah, they're still emotional when they think of you. So a good reason to renew the restraining order because they come back in. Feel empty without you. You're the person of the dreams. Mm. That's another thing as well, is the avoidance. They are looking for the person of the dreams. They think that if they meet that right one, it'll just work out. But it won't, because they still have that attachment scale. They still can't do relationship, you know? They can't. Yes, we knew it. So the guys. So, let's get some cards out. See what the guides want to tell us today after all of that. So I'm feeling very different now. And it's interesting, like this is the thing, right? And this has been my thing the whole time. Because of my gift, my guides have been taking me through the healing process, which is why my business is called Be Healing. They always did, right? It's how I've managed to survive. They always did take me through that healing process. As I said, if you're really messed up, you don't even want to connect with a therapist. You can't. So the guides lately telling me to open up now, to meet new people and all of that, to move on. I'm like, okay. And now they've given me the information through people, getting help from people like in that book. It's just so much easier when you get help from people, right? Instead of trying to do it ourselves. I've got myself to a point where I'm open to that now. And hopefully you are too. To learn how to do it right. And it's just that simple. And it's not that you're not going to meet someone special. You will. Because, of course, you're not just like going to attach to the first securely attached or anxious attached person that you can have a relationship with. You're going to make sure that you're compatible and all of that kind of thing. But if we can get rid of, first of all, the ones that just want the short-term things and the avoidant ones, then you've got a chance of having a good relationship. But the book says is that we need to date a lot of people. And the reason we haven't been dating a lot of people is because we get attached really fast. Don't have sex with them, you'll get attached really fast. Just meet a lot of people, figure them out, and it's really obvious. And in the book, they have a lot of examples as well, saying guess which attachment style they are. And you can tell by the way that they talk about their ex, they talk, and stuff like that. So, thank you, Elise. What's your question? So let's get some cards out. What do the guides want to tell us now after revealing all that information? I love Kindle, that I can get books straight away. You know, when my guides go like, they even told me anxious attachment in a reading to look into it, and I didn't. And then I heard it on that, and I heard about that book, and I'm just like, yes, buy it straight away, read it. If I'd had time the day before, I would have read it, but I didn't. I had a headache because I'd exercised. And I got neck ache from that, and I had a headache, so I went to sleep super early instead, the day before. What's your question, Elise, for your reading? So, the Queen of Potions, the one that receives. Yes, the Queen of Potions, the one that receives. It's about you and someone loving you, right? It's about you and someone loving you right, and finding someone that can love you right. You're not here to heal the ones that are avoidant. You're not, and you can't. It's just going to mess up. Yes, me too, Delia. And the only reason, me too, but the only reason that I've avoided that for the last couple of years is because I kept on meeting the wrong ones, the players, the short-term ones, and it hasn't helped that there's hardly been anyone on this island, of course, because of COVID. But if you find someone that wants a long-term one, they're avoidant, and it's just like, well, there's nobody out there, and that's the story I was telling myself, not realizing once you've got the facts, right? And it's not good enough, the facts of saying, like, most of them can't have a good relationship. When you've got the actual facts of there's this type and there's this type and there's this type, just watch out for them and you'll be fine. It's like, duh. Yeah, so I'm going to have fun with it too. And the best thing is, I choose by energy. You see, the one that I did open up to, he's got great energy, and it showed. I'd chosen right with him because he was straight away messaging me. I added it on Facebook, and he messaged me first. He's in a long-term relationship too, and he was very nurturing toward me and very happy for me to be approaching him that way. So I chose right. You can choose by energy too, but it's good to know and to get those affirmations from their actual behaviors and what they say, and recognizing it as those particular types, going, this is someone that can have a healthy relationship. Of course. And he is in a healthy relationship 9 years. And it makes sense why he is. So Queen of Cups, the Queen of Potions, the one that can receive love. It's all about you receiving love, how you want to receive love, how you need to receive love, what you need in a relationship, and there's nothing wrong with that. Most of us, we wouldn't even consider not affirming someone back if they were like feeling anxious or whatever. We do it straight away. We've noticed before they even said it, and we do it. Yeah, why aren't we going, no, I need to be with someone like that for me, especially for when we've got anxiety, especially when we're an anxious type. Of course, we need to be with someone that can do that. Knight of Presents. Interesting. So the Knight of Presents is the one that comes toward you with something tangible, with actual stuff, with an actual offer, with should we go on a date or something like that? It's not just someone that's eyes flash at you because they're attracted to you. So another thing we do too is that we mistake that for connection. Attraction for connection. It's not true. The players and the avoidance, they'll be attracted to you too, of course. But the Knight of Presents is someone that offers something real. Okay. The Knight of Presents. So they're telling me what I've been saying wrong then. The Knight of Presents, I've been saying in the readings, is the one that takes it slow, and they're the ones that are doing it right. Now, there's kind of a truth in that, but not too. The avoidance are very slow because they're not gonna. Because they're not going to. They're not slow. They're just not going to do it. Yes, perhaps this card coming out and what I've been saying about it has been misleading us and keeping us holding on and being okay about people not getting back to us straight away and stuff like that. The positive side of the Knight of Presents is someone that comes with something tangible. So you're not guessing, right? You're not guessing with the Knight of Presents. They're actually coming with something tangible. Elise, thanks for your donation. Was the person you just recently separated from occupied by another person? That's another thing Andrew Huberman said. He was talking about all of this, and he said when he was back in he's actually married, but he said back in his dating days, he went on a date with a woman, and he was so impressed by what she said. She said, is a woman dependent on you emotionally, financially, or what was the other one? I can't remember the other one. He said she was so specific about it that physically, emotionally, or financially. Is any other woman dependent on you physically, emotionally, or financially? And he said he always remembered that question because she knows what to look out for, right? To ask that, asking those questions up front. not leaving it up to guessing. Because the ones that want short term and the avoidance and all of that, they're going to run from questions like that, right? They're just going to run. It's way too way too intimate straight away, right? And so you can like find out from the outset with someone by asking them those questions. Even in messages, you can, before you don't even need to go on dates with them, even in messages. I'm going to go back on the dating sites, I tell you, armed with this information. There's a person who just recently separated, once occupied by another person. It's just plain rude when a person doesn't reply. I know, right? Oh, man, and then I got married to him. What the hell? Because that's what happened. I knew there's a key behind that. That's what happened. When I met my ex-husband, I sent him an email. We were in the same office, but I sent him an email asking him out, and he didn't reply. And it was only like a week later when I was just like so furious about it, that he heard about that. Like, how rude. And then he's like, yeah, let's go out. And I married him. What was I thinking? He showed me signs straight away that he wasn't going to be there for me. Yes, is your answer, Elise. They're occupied by another person. Yeah, there's lots of signs that they give, and looking back, I can see them all now, but it's good to know them up front and know what I'm looking for. Vacuuming next door. Oh, long vacuum. Greater than 5 seconds. Huh, okay. You've been told to listen with compassion here, so occupied by another person, yes. If you listen with compassion, you get the truth from them and put your mind at rest. Oh, and through a friend as well. Friend, oh, that's who they're occupied with. Yeah, emotionally occupied by someone else. Someone else listening to them. Oh, that's what it is. No, it's not saying you listen with compassion. It's saying, yeah, somebody is emotionally there for them. They are occupied by someone else, a friend of theirs. It's, it's like those emotional affairs kind of thing. Very much connected with someone else there emotionally. Right. Yeah, I know. Good question, huh? Good question. Oh, it's going to be so much better getting out there now. And they're not going to take it personally when they are those things. It's just like, oh, it's one of those, avoidant, won't go there. And just let it go. Let's fast forward. Oh, chariot. Let's fast forward from this point forward, says the chariot. Yay! I always knew that there was something not quite right about these teachings and stuff, that there was something that I wasn't getting. Because it works out, doesn't it? It works out unless there's something that we're not getting. When things aren't working out, it means that there's something not right about it. The high priestess, and now we know. Now we know. And it's not about closing the door on our intuition and all of that. Like I said, still use it. Like I said, the one that I opened up to the other day, my intuition told me, right, this is a good one. This is someone that appears on first meeting is very compatible with me and great energy. Ask directly. No, he's not single, and that's okay. I'm not going to take it personally. It's okay. But it did give me hope because he got back to me straight away. Do you know what I mean? It's like it gave me hope. It's like, okay, my intuition is picking the right ones at least now. And that's what the high priestess is saying. You can rely on your intuition to make it even better, to make it even easier, the process. No communication with you. Yeah. And that makes sense, doesn't it, as well? The financial dependence that we've been told over and over again. An avoidant type will, if they're in a relationship, it will be a financially dependent one. Because that's all they've got to offer. That's all they've got to offer in relationships. They don't have the emotional stuff to offer in relationships. So all they're offering is money. They're reluctant to give that up. Of course they are, because they can't have any other kind of relationship. In other words, we scare the hell out of our twin flames because they can't come to us because they're an avoidant type. So they found someone that will settle just for the whatever it is there. It could be financial or whatever kind of that they are offering in relationship. It's not the full stuff. It's not the emotional stuff that they're offering. You found someone that will just settle for that. We don't want to be those people, and they aren't going to change. They're not suddenly miraculously going to lose their attachment style with you. They're not. So the Ace of Needles, the truth comes out. You can have a truthful start now. A truthful start. Oh, yes. It was all so confusing before, and now it makes so much sense. But I am so aware that I needed to heal myself to a certain point before I could read that kind of stuff. And for it to be like, aha. The Rubik's Cube method. Flip it and reverse it. Yeah. There's something in it. There's something in us living this. It is easier if you learn it from someone else, but we can't do that, right? We can't do that because it makes no sense. It won't make any sense to us because we've got to have lived it. You've got to have lived those other things to even want something better and know what it is that you don't want, right? For this information. Someone could read that book that has hardly done any healing on themselves and they haven't had those experiences and they'll hardly get anything from it. But we'll get a lot from it. I'm telling you, you'll get so much from it. So no wonder Andrew Huberman said it's essential reading. It is. And he talks, in that book, he talks about what some like relationship experts are saying it's just worse, the worst. Some relationship experts will tell anxious types to, not be so needy or, put away your needs in relationships and stuff like that. With him for 33 years, chose to communicate with other people. Wow. That's a sign of an avoidant type too. Especially when it's a lot of new people. That they can keep at a distance. They're the ones that have affairs. Yeah, they are the ones that have affairs, the avoidant type. That's what they want, is a lot of people that are arm's length, not close. As soon as it gets into emotional territory, they're out of there. Temperance. So it might be a process, yeah. But we're not waiting for someone who's never going to come. We're out there and we're waiting to find that right one. Not sitting, waiting, doing nothing. We need to get out there and meet them and actually be choosing ourselves, right? Not waiting for someone to choose you. Because the avoidant type, they don't go for secure attached. The only people that will put up with them are the insecure attached. We're the only ones that will put up with them. We're the only ones that will get into imbalanced situations like that. So, yeah. Don't do it. Temperance is about persisting with it. Now you know the truth, persisting with it. It's said in that book as well about dating, or just being open to a lot of people, finding out about a lot of people, is It takes the pressure off us. That you're not going to take it as personally. You're not going to like suddenly read this book and then your attachment style is gone. But you're not going to take it as personally, right? If you've got, it's like, well, but I'm talking to this other person too, you know? In other words, we've got need for love. We've got need for love and connection and all of that kind of stuff. And you can get it just by talking to people, talking to different people. And so do that. And eliminate quickly the ones that aren't. You've got to be tuned into your emotions when you do it. The ones that make you feel insecure straight away. Don't just go, oh, well, they're all going to make me feel insecure. It's not true. Just get rid of them straight away. They must make you feel insecure. It's not you. It's them. It's what they're doing and what they're not doing, especially what they're not doing. So temperance, you're going to have to kind of temper yourself through that. Have patience with yourself. The Hierophant, there will be more spiritual lessons. Oh no, there will be more spiritual lessons. But we're getting there. We're getting there. This is like, when I was at school, I don't know why this has popped into my head. When I was at school, I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what I was told. We had, like, what is it now? There was a college, but there was some kids that would go off to another kind of a place that wasn't college. College meaning where you go when you're 17 or 18. 17 and 18. There was another kind of a school that people like learning trades and stuff like that would go to. And it was a different kind of a school. And what I was told was the kind of college that I went to was like you learn from a teacher kind of thing. You take the information and like that. The other ones were very much hands-on, a hands-on kind of school. And this, what we're doing here, is a kind of a hands-on kind of a school. Going into having all of the experiences with the narcissist, with all different types, so that we can have the good relationship. Do you know what I mean? If we haven't had that experience, we're just going to, the best we can possibly get is getting into a settling relationship that's not good for you with an attached person, with an avoidant person. There is more spiritual lessons to come, but it very much feels like on the road to success. So 2022 has been all about us finally learning what's really holding us back from the relationships that we want. It's always going to be about relationships, right? 2022. What else? The Page of Needles. Page of Needles is about messaging. It's about the truth, about communicating the truth. Page of Needles. There's something in this. It's like a shackle being thrown out of that pot there. Free to express yourself, truth. No longer thinking that there's something wrong with you anymore. Free to express your truth. And it be okay. So a lot of us have been, that's what we've been kind of doing wrong, is telling ourselves that we've been doing it wrong, that there's something wrong with us. But it's not true. What I have noticed is I don't get approached by men anymore. I can tell that they like me, but they don't approach me because my energy is very strong now. In fact, I'm very secure. I am very secure now, and I know that comes out in my energy. And so they don't approach me. Yeah, they'll look at me or whatever, but they don't try it on. Let's put it that way. And it's not that I'm like completely avoidant, like I'm keeping everyone out of my life. It's not true at all. I'm friendly. I like people, and I am open to relationship too. But the ones that can't, don't even try now. And I guess I was just thinking that the ones that can will somehow see me shining and come toward me. But this is saying no. We need to choose. It's part of our learning that we get out there and we do this. Who knows? Maybe this is what it is. Maybe this is helping people out of that false twin flame rut thing that will never have people getting into a good relationship. Teaching them how to actually have a good relationship. What else? Spiritual lessons never end, right? There's always better to go to, and that's the thing. The guides have always said, well, you're here to have even better. You see, you're here to have it even better, and you're going to have even better than those that don't go through this too. Now, wouldn't it be nice if we had like great parenting, we're secure, and got into a relationship with someone that's secure, and you just live happily ever after? Certainly, life would be easier because you flourish within those relationships. I haven't been in a relationship with someone that's secure. I've had a relationship with someone that's insecure attachment, both of us, me and Jared. And that's that wound mate kind of a dynamic. And I started flourishing in that relationship. So I outgrew him because it's natural for us to flourish when we're in good relationships. With abundance, with all kinds of things, because we feel secure, and then you're not thinking about those things. It's just like it's natural for you to flourish once you got yourself into abundance too. I mean, once you're in the abundance mindset and you're not worried about money anymore, you start thriving. You get into abundance. It's exactly the same thing. Once your mind isn't occupied by your insecurity, by not being in a relationship, by thinking that there's something wrong with you and all of that, it's a lot. And we can't get out of the human condition. We're human beings. We need connection. I just thank God that I'm secure in friendships now, because I needed to do that first, for sure. I definitely needed to do that first. Have secure friendships first. Start there. If you haven't got secure friendships, start there, for sure. When you die, you don't have to deal with emotions. You see the ripple effects of your actions. Yeah. When you die, I've had the recently departed explain it to me what happens. They say it's like you're given a gift of emotional release. So it's just given to you. It just happens that all those emotions are just gone, and you get to see it really clearly. There's no process about it. Like, they don't have to go through each thing kind of thing, feeling bad about it. It's not a human thing at all. So it's just gone. The gift is just given, and all the emotional stuff is gone. That's why I can tell when there's some readers out there that will say, oh, they're angry at you and stuff like that. You know, people that have passed, it's like, it's not true. It's not true, because none of them are like that. None of them are like that at all. We've got the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is about paying close attention. People show who they are. You just need to pay closer attention and notice the signs, especially when people are talking about exes. That's the biggest thing, is that book. It gives you examples, right? And it's like, pick what attachment style they are, and it's just like someone talking to you like they would on a date, you know? We know some of it already, like the ones, like the narcissists who say that their exes are crazy. They made them crazy. That's an avoidant. That's an avoidant talking about a needy person, a crazy person, the one that would always question them about stuff, you know? It's not a crazy person, it's someone that wants to have a relationship and relate to the other person. and get their needs met. There's clues in everything that people do and say and post and all of it. Holy crap, yeah. That's another one. Mine is so avoidant that he would not communicate with me directly, but put it like on Facebook for everyone to see. Like, I'll be back soon or something. And he knew it was for me. Perhaps for other girls on this island too, that he's got in the keep at arm's length thing. The ultimate in avoidance is to put things out on Facebook like that, ambiguously. How many people have you seen doing that? Putting things on Facebook that should be said directly to somebody. That's a sign. You're gonna get good at noticing these signs, Page of Swords, and really paying attention to people. You can avoid it. You can avoid even going on a date with them. You can avoid even going on a date with them. You can get on the dating sites, message them if you ask the right questions, and the right questions will just be like, how long you've been single or something like that. They'll start talking about their ex, and you'll be able to pick it, whether they are someone to have a good relationship with. And you've got to get out of the savior complex thing of like, oh, they'll be different with me. No, they won't. They won't, not unless they've done the work to heal themselves. And in which case, if they have done the work to heal themselves, they'll be talking about that in a lot of detail. They'll be able to express that. The Three of Cups. So it's party time. It's time to get out there and enjoy yourself. And I know that means enjoying myself isn't going on a heap of dates with fuckboys and avoidant types. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to weed them out before I get there. The beauty of the online dating stuff is that you can message them first. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to stay up an extra hour each evening and play the whole online dating game and message back and forth people. I'm willing to put that much effort into it every day. I'll find time to do that, and I'll weed them out. You said those exact words to him. What exact? Yours does that. Yeah, yours is avoidant for sure. And you might have some avoidance in you as well, Maria. Yeah, I think all of us on that spectrum have been avoidant, or are still a bit avoidant too. So, because you know he's watching you, so you're doing the avoidant stuff to try and connect with an avoidant. Oh my God, it's the games, you see. So the anxious type, they play the games. It's not that you're actually avoidant, but you start doing those things. And that's what I was thinking. It's like, it's very clear to say this is how you are in relationship. It's not how you appear on the outside. So someone that's single for a long time could appear avoidant. No, they're not. Probably not. In fact, no, probably not at all. Probably there's plenty of secure people. Not so many anxious people can be alone, but secure people, plenty of them can be alone. One big thing about anxious attachers is a preoccupation with it, because your nervous system is on high alert, because you don't have that connection. You don't have a partner that you need. You need to feel secure, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, of course, you're preoccupied with it. Yeah. Just got a gob of turmeric. So go out there and have fun. I would recommend not going on dates with them. Weed them out before that. You both watch each other. Four of Swords. It's time for healing. Oh, it's going to be so healing. Yeah, well, you can do that, Michelle, but you can weed out the attachment styles first before you go on a date with them. That's the thing. You can be more selective. and then meet them in person if you do the online thing. Probably hard. I don't know, because like me, I haven't been doing the online thing. I will, just to try this out, because I think we need to try this out to practice. We'll probably meet the person in the gym, because I will. If someone's going to be compatible with me, they're going to be in the gym. Now, it could be an avoidant that's in the gym. It could be a narcissist that's in the gym. It could be a secure person that's in the gym. It could be anxious person that's in the gym. I don't know. But at least then I'm going to know that they've got some compatibility with me, right? But I'm still going to do the dating thing as well to find out, to get practiced in it. Then we've got the moon. I do feel like there's going to be an emotional release with this. The healing, the Four of Swords, and an emotional release. When you pass a note, say, do you like me, yes or no? I think, like everything, it's got its good sides and it's got its bad sides. I think we've got benefits from it, and I think we've got drawbacks from it for sure. Nothing is ever good or bad. The way that we use it, perhaps. Some people use the phones for avoidance as well. And then my friend does that here. She's told me that she does it. She feels uncomfortable, and so she just sits looking at her phone in a situation. She's like, she told me one time that she was glad that I showed up, because then she had someone to talk to, because she felt uncomfortable in that situation, so she was just on her phone. She's just on her phone all the time. And I've noticed that she does that. Give you away. Do you use your real name? I do. Does everyone else? Good question. Yeah, I would. I'd just be like completely myself, completely upfront about myself. I mean, it's how you're going to meet the right person, isn't it? Be completely yourself, and just eliminate them. Swipe left, swipe left, swipe left. You know. Battle, Five of Swords. Now we're getting into territory, twin flame territory again, where I'm feeling it. I'm feeling them coming back. Of course, they're going to come back. Yes, they are going to come back. The twin flames. The ones that we've been calling twin flames are going to come back. Because as soon as we pull away and do this, yes, that's the runner-chaser kind of dynamic. They're going to come back because they do want connection. They do want connection. They can't do it, but they will try. What about the Five of Swords? So you're going to have to be strong in the face of them coming back. Come on. It helps. It helps to know that they can't possibly have a good relationship. So do not pursue them. That helped me. Like I'd already let him go, right? But sometimes the readings were kind of bringing me back to him. I'm like, but that book is put the nail in his coffin. It's like, no, he can't have a good relationship. I get it. It's not like he's going to leave that bad marriage and then get with me and have a good relationship. He's not. So there's going to be a battle before there is the victory. But you are going to have the victory. The Six of Wands. Everyone rejoicing. Finally, you've met somebody. And you know, that book as well, it's got stories. It's got people who have learned this stuff and what their experience was with dating and relationships before, and then after they've learned this stuff, the relationship that they got into after it. You hate dating apps. You'll say the same thing on apps, do they? Yeah, well, there's a lot of the F boys on the apps, but you can just weed through them. They're obvious. Just get rid of them. If someone engages in conversation, proper conversation, they're the ones that I will proceed with. The ones that message you, just like your heart is like, whoosh, off you go. But the ones that actually engage in conversation, I'll give them some more time. So there's not many of them, you know. I'm on a small island, so I haven't been on Tinder for many years. But when I did, I'm like, get rid of all of, predominantly a lot of them married. I already know who they are. The married ones and the ones that are in long-term relationships with my friends. Get rid of all of those. I'm disgusted that you're even on there, kind of thing. Yeah, and then engage in conversation. Thank you, Luna. Your ex told you that he didn't. Read the book anyway. Read the book and it might change your mind about it. I know I have, because I'll be able to weed them out better, because I've got a category for them now, you know? A reason to not even bother going there. Luna, Terry's and I's current reunion energies. Sunny. Reunion energies for Sunny. Self-love. One thing the book does say is that a lot of the new agey stuff, spiritual stuff, will say that you need to love yourself first and all of that, and almost say that you need to be independent first, and you don't, because we can't be independent. Human beings shouldn't be independent. Which I get why they say that, but I also know for myself a big part, the self-love thing had to come first, right? Before I could be in a healthy relationship, because I was just so anxious. I had no idea how anxious I was until I'm not as anxious anymore and I look back. And I still am anxious, and I know that I am. Anyway, self-love for you. The self-love is flowing at the moment. So in other words, no reunion at the moment, because it's all about you right now and finding that self-love, and that's what's flowing. So you sorting yourself out and developing yourself. And understanding about being of service to someone. So we're not here to do that. We're not here to fix people. It's not the same as being like in a supportive relationship kind of thing. You know, being there for someone. There's that whole being of service in a relationship is different though. That is wanting to fix them. Being willing to get into a relationship with someone that has got problems and wanting to fix them, wanting to change it, that kind of thing. So there's something here about you, Sunny, not being so willing to be of service in a relationship. You don't need to be that. You see, we've got to be vigilant. You know how I said the avoidant type, they're going to get into relationships with people where they don't have to offer that emotional stuff. There's going to be some kind of a transaction going on, some kind of a transaction, right? But it's not the transaction that you want it to be. It's not that emotional fulfillment transaction. So be careful about being willing to help someone out and it be all about them and helping them out. You don't need to do that. You being loved isn't dependent on you being of service to someone, doing something for them, giving them something. It's dependent on like how you relate and stuff like that, but we relate to people, and it's about them relating to you too. So just be careful about that, about someone, about you not being good enough, like you needing to do more and all of that kind of thing. You need to find self-love first because of that. So that, you know, like just you're enough in relationship, them hanging out with you, just, you deserve love, just like that. If anyone wants to get that book, here's the link to it, by the way. And I would recommend it to everybody. I like everybody, not just everyone in here, just like everybody in the world. Because there's nobody that it doesn't apply to. Even even there's like an example that I just read this morning of someone who is secure attachment, being in a relationship, long-term relationship, no problems, all of that kind of thing. They lose that person somehow. I can't remember what it said in the example, but then because they're just like completely trusting, you think they think that there's just going to be, next person they get involved with is going to be the same. It's just going to be secure and all of that. They don't know what to look out for, and then they get this horrible experience that shakes them to the core. Messed up people that are out there. So it's really for everyone, even the secure people. So the victory will be yours. 4 of Cups. I think this is saying like most of them are going to be duds. We're looking at them, it's like, oh, could be kind of disappointing. Don't take it personally. It's disappointing that the majority of people in the dating out there that are single, let's not call them the dating pool, but the ones that are out there and single, or the ones that are out there not necessarily single, they're either in a relationship or they're avoidant types, or they're for short term. They just want short term, which are the avoidant types too. But there will be one. If you're lucky, there'll be more than one, and you'll get to choose. You get to choose like between a few of them who is the most compatible with you. But there will be one. There won't all be disappointments, and don't take it personally that this planet has got a load of messed up people on it. And it's probably worse than it's ever been because of that. I think it was in the 1920s that it started. There were some psychologists, pediatricians, putting work out there, ideas out there. All it was. It wasn't research. It's just ideas out there, what they thought. That, let babies cry it out and don't cuddle them and all of this. And as long as they're getting the milk and stuff like that and change, then they're going to be like the perfect kind of person with no attachments if you ignore them and ignore their emotional needs. And we found out the hard way that is not true. But it's led to a lot of real messed up people being around. I mean, I know for one, both of my parents, avoidant, one narcissist, other one abuser, both abusive, one narcissist, one abuser, both avoidant. I didn't stand a chance, really. Now looking at it with my children, I was, with my children, there for them, very nurturing toward them. Well, my friends used to call me like Earth Mother and stuff, very nurturing toward them. Until the divorce and the having them half the time kind of, and like getting my life back and then healing myself and all of that. I was in the anxiety. I was in a lot of anxiety. And I recognized that I didn't do the best job then of being emotionally there for them, especially my youngest, because he was born just before we divorced. I prefer to be alone. That's a shame. Yeah, I prefer to be alone than being with any of those, but I do believe that there's some out there that are good ones. And the good ones that do come available sometimes. Stuff happens, I want to go to the Book of Shadows Tarot, see if we need to know other things. Yeah. So yeah, I'm interested in the turn that the readings will take now. Spell casting, manifesting it. Interesting. Cool. You went through the same thing. Because I wasn't getting my needs met. And I think I could provide it to a certain point, but because I wasn't being filled up in my relationship, I got to a point where it's like, hang on, I've got nothing left, there's nothing for me. And then it was very difficult. It was very difficult for me to be there for them. Spellcasting, manifesting this. And that's the other thing too. I mean, only go out there if you've got the positive. At least don't go out there because you haven't got the someone out there for me kind of thing, the positive mindset. Because we'll only see what we want to see kind of thing. If you think like they're all messed up out there and that there's no good ones, there's no point in doing it. But if you do believe that, yeah, a lot of people are messed up, but that's all right. I can just eliminate those. I don't need to get involved with them, and I'll find the ones that are good. Then if you're in that positive mindset, then spell casting, manifesting it. Find it. So the energetics of it and the intuition of it isn't off, but you just need to know that you're susceptible to an attraction and making it mean way more than it is, and also perhaps previously being repelled by the ones that were actually good for you because you got used to your attachment system in your nervous system being ignited, excited by the dysfunction. Spellcasting. Magic is focusing the will and working with the divine energies present to create positive change in the world. Oh, I know that I thrive in a good relationship. I've only had one, but I thrived in it. So much so that I outgrew him. So it wasn't a good match in the first place, but it was a good match to me at the start of it because I was a mess. Alone and a mess, and had been for a very long time. Learning to recognize and work with energy is relatively easy. The challenges are controlling our will and on creating positive change. You need to muster up your will. Some of you need to get your spark back and the desire for it back. We don't always want what's good for us. Oh my God. I could say that again. Creating positive change is also difficult. We don't always want what's good for us. It's not always a simple thing to know what's for our greatest good. Managing our will takes practice, discipline, and patience. Yeah, and I think we've got that here. I think we've got that in the cards here. As long as you stay in close connection with the divine, you'll be good. Once you know how it feels to be in good relationship with the divine, it's easy to recognize when you're not. In good relationship with other people, it's easy to recognize when you're not. That's the thing, is when we have these ahas, like reading that book gave me, it's just like it makes so much sense now. It makes just so much sense now. Because I've been in the not side of it. Yeah. It's all right. I used to abandon myself. Oof, that was hard when I learned that lesson. It was shocking. It was like, oh my God, I've been leaving myself out. Been treating myself as badly as my parents treated me. That ended. As soon as I realized that, it's like, oh, little plan, no way, I won't ever leave you out again. And then the three of air. The three of air represents finding the truth by looking at something with different eyes or from a different point of view. There you go. That's why I'm excited now to get on these things. Facebook yesterday told me about going on the Facebook dating thing, and I'm like, but I'm excited to now because it's like a project to me now. It's like, can I spot them? Can I spot them? Can I eliminate them? To just to try all this out. Looking at it with different eyes, from a different point of view. Just as a reflective scrying surface is different than a mirror and shows hidden yet significant information, so we can find unperceived yet important truths when looking at something through a different lens. Looking at these people through a different lens, you get to see the truth of it. You know what to look out for. And it's a shame, yes, it's a great shame that people are kind of damaged. And once you see the signs, once you recognize it, and you know that you can never, never get your needs met by that person, and that your needs are very important. You being loved is very important. Spiritual teachings too say, you need to find what your life purpose is first. It's very difficult. It's very difficult when you don't have a secure relationship to find abundance and to your life purpose and stuff like that. It's so much easier in a relationship. So much easier. Oh, not in a bad relationship, no. Not easy in that at all, but in a positive relationship, yes. Got the Maiden of Fire, the inspiration. Yeah, we control the narrative, right? And perhaps that's what the Emperor is all about too. Seeing the Emperor card as the divine masculine, but it's the divine masculine in ourselves. It's us taking control of things and choosing properly for ourselves now. The Maiden of Fire, she's inspired. She lights a single candle. She gives us a gift, the first spark of inspiration. So if you're feeling it, if you're feeling inspired, perhaps after being disappointed for so long and not understanding why it happens over and over again, then the book will tell you. I'll give you the link again. Should put it in the comments once this is finished as well. People watching the replay. Yeah. So if you feel inspired, look at things in a different way. You can manifest this. For your greatest good, you'll know better what's best for you. And no, you're not a mirror of the one that you've been thinking is a twin flame. It's not a mirror. Anxious is not a mirror of the avoidant. It's not. The Three of Water. This looks like very freeing, doesn't it? Looks very freeing. Three of Water. Creation and fertility. The Roman goddess Flora is known for association with springtime and the flowering of the plants. She protects plants from rotting and helps young girls as they approach womanhood. Everything about her is young and fresh and filled with beauty and promises for the future. Within her creation, the fragrant blossoms of spring are many blessings. The colour and scents revive and refresh our spirits after months of winter dreariness, or years perhaps. Within the flowers are elements that will eventually become fruits and vegetables, to nourish our bodies throughout the year. Of course, there's also the promise of death and decay as part of the natural cycle of life, but for now, all is lovely, lush and delightful. The Three of Wands denotes a happy time of plenty. The universe is going to play along with this. If you get yourself in that positive mindset, the universe will play along, and it will show you all those people, and you'll be able to choose from it, and it'll show you some good ones too. There's not just enough, but more than enough to put by for a rainy day. Having something set aside gives a sense of security that makes the present even more enjoyable. You know what I'm getting from this is that because of our not understanding and our anxiety and the thinking it's us, become very low in energy about dating and about relationships and all of that. Very disappointed by it, very disillusioned by it. All the effort we've put into it too. ridiculous amount of effort for very little return, right? We know now why. The book tells you why. Because you've been going to avoidant people. But if you've got this positive outlook, the universe is going to play along. It's going to play along. And you're going to be able to manifest it, you see? Manifest it. Once you've got that different viewpoint, it's like, okay, so I get it. There is plenty of fish in the sea, but a lot of them are rotting. Someone just say that. A lot of them are rotten, right? And some of them are stingy, and, you know, some of them are poisonous. It's the Seven of Cups energy. But as long as you know that, you don't need to be scared of the fish in the sea. You're going to see that there's plenty there to choose from, and you can choose the good ones. Choice. The Three of Water is very freeing, and it can actually create it. So much easier once you know how and why you've been doing it, to do something different. And it's very freeing, and you then can take control, and it's no longer stressful anymore. You might even find that you become a secure, attached person instead of anxious. Because the anxiety is only there when we don't get it, right? We can't take our power. It's very stressful when we can't figure out how we're doing something, what it is we're doing, what are we doing wrong, kind of thing. And we were told over and over again that it's in our selection. The guys have been saying that over and over again. It's in our selection. It's in the selection. You're just choosing the wrong people. That's all. They've said it. Like, for years now, they've been saying it. Cool. Job interview. That's exciting. What's the job? The devil. Da, da, da. The Seven of Water. See, I told you. It's the Seven of Cups energy. The devil, picking them out. The ones that aren't good for you. Seven of Cups. The 7 cups that have, one's got a snake in it, one's got a ghost in it, and all of that. There's a confusion in the 7 of Cups. It's like, I've got all these choices. I don't know which one to choose. I'm scared. They all seem to be bad for me. Well, they're not all bad for you. They're not. But the 7 of Cups is a confused state where we don't know how we're choosing, what we're choosing, why we're attracting, what we're attracting. The law of attraction doesn't help, because that tells us that we're just going to attract. It's like, oh, you keep on meeting players. Oh, you keep on meeting these avoidant types. Well, that's your fault. You're just not vibrating right. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not at all. You're just not choosing right because you don't realize that there's these ones out there. That's all it is. And we've been told, don't choose narcissists. Like, know how to spot them. We're like, okay, I won't choose a narcissist. Oh, hang on a minute. This one, they're not a narcissist, but they're still pushing me away. Well, it's still an avoidant. Not a narcissist avoidant, but an avoidant. So if you're still scared of choosing, yep, the devils are going to be out there. Not really devils, they're just messed up people. The Book of Shadows is the Hierophant. Let's read the Hierophant out for this deck. The Book of Shadows. Someone's looking for you. Someone is out there having that exact same experience, and they're looking for you. They've been doing the work. This is what we've been told too. They've been doing the work. They've been focused on someone else, someone that isn't healthy for them, someone perhaps that they thought was a twin flame too. They've been doing the work. They're ready. They might be anxious still, but they might be secure. Two anxious people can get together. If an anxious person is with someone that's secure or with another anxious person and they connect, then they're fine. The anxiety goes away once they're in a good relationship, once they've got that secure bond. There's hope for anxious. There's not really any hope for the avoidance. But as I said, some of us have had avoidant in us, but predominantly anxious. So don't let that put you off. The Hierophant, the Book of Shadows. Your Book of Shadows serves as your own personal spell book and magic diary. It's a record of your studies, explorations, and conclusions. which tells me again what I'm picking up, that we had to go through all of this. We had to experience it. Oh my God. As you practice, you will synthesize what you read, learn, and experience into your own belief system. As you practice, let me read that again. As you practice this new way, you will synthesize what you read and learn out of that book and what you learn about yourself and experience into your own belief system. And then once you believe it, yes, changes everything. In it, you'll keep track of your rituals, spells, divinations, and meditations. Some practitioners keep separate books for different subjects. Others keep everything together in chronological order. Think about how you may use your book and then organize in a way that makes sense with your plans. If your first organizational attempt doesn't feel right, try another until you find one that works best for you. This book will form the foundation of your practice and your beliefs. Within its pages, you find your own tenets, rules, recipes, devotions, traditions, and goals. The word Hierophant, this name, the name that this card traditionally bears, comes from the Greek words ta hiera, meaning holy or sacred, and the phanein, meaning to show, to bring to light, or to make known. But in paganism, no one does this. What? Reveals the sacred to us. This book doesn't make sense. But in paganism, no one does this. Reveals the sacred to us. The divine reveals herself. Oh, so no one reveals the sacred to us. The divine reveals herself to us. And we make sense of it as we see fit. So our Book of Shadows becomes our teacher and guide. You do have more lessons coming, but you'll get through it. And the reason you'll get through it is because of everything you've been through. You know, we had that message. It's like, you'll be glad for this wait. So I'm being told that. You'll be glad for this wait. For sure you will. The wait that we've had for the last year, or however long it's been for you. Most of us begin with a blank book. That book holds nothing except every possibility that exists. Just as we create our future with each moment we live, so we create our personal magical journey with each page our Book of Shadows will fill. The world is our classroom. What lessons will manifest and shape your path? It's about knowledge, tradition, understanding, beliefs practiced in daily life, putting it into practice. Everything that you've learned, and just like that college that I don't remember the name of, which is more of a practical kind of a college, you came here to experience these things for some reason. How long does it take? Oh, it's taken me a very long time. It's taken me a very long time. Not that I'm completely out of. But anyway, read the book. Wheel of the Year, because you'll get your own deductions from it. You'll get your own ahas from the book, right? I'm just kind of passing on the ones that I got from it as it pertains to what I've been saying, because it's always tricky. Like, I'm always growing that and always learning more, of course. I'd be doing this if I wasn't. But it's always tricky because then you like realize, oh, the stuff that I shared previously. There's a lot of truth to it, yeah, but of course through my filter of what I knew at the time. So some of it's wrong, just wrong. And I've got to put it right as I learn more, you know. The Wheel of the Year. Yeah, me too. I'm glad. And I like learning, you know. I listened to 2 podcasts yesterday and 2 the day before, and I just love it. Learning, especially about people and myself. Got a lot of major arcanas here. The Wheel of the Year. Oh, it's just about cycles within cycles, this one. Changes in the air is the next logical step. Changing fortunes. No longer repeating cycles. Old cycles, new cycles. Ah, the World card, yeah. The World card has been coming up so much. We need to end an old cycle and not do that anymore. And it's a cycle of thinking and our beliefs and stuff like that. Getting new beliefs and then experiencing that. We've got really good things coming. Good. Open to it. Yeah. I'm open to it. I already was before this information. And I'm glad that the guides have given me that. I had an experience first and then they gave me the information. It's like, yes, I experienced it before, just with that guy over the weekend. Choosing the right one, and I recognized it straight away when he was messaging me and he was being open and nurturing straight away. I recognize it straight away. This is it. This is reciprocation. This is the reciprocation that we've been talking about when they message back and they're open straight away and engaged and all of that. Sure, not available, but that's all right too. That's better than and someone not lying about being available, not available. Better than what someone just not being forthcoming, leaving me waiting, that kind of stuff. Yeah. I think you're all going to have very different experiences, varied different experiences, but different than you've had before. The way you were raised at arm length, yeah, same. So avoidant parents, yeah, the same. And my dad did say he regretted it when I was about 30. He said he regrets not hugging or showing any of that nurturing. He said that he regretted that. And then he got him in a head clamp as some kind of a way to make up for it. He told me that, and then he got me in a full head clamp, squeezed my head. It was very uncomfortable, but it's like, this is his way of of showing me how much he regrets it. So I put up with him. He's squeezing my head very uncomfortably. Naked baby. Going swimming. One of mine, well, both of them were abusers in my case. One, I can only really say that one was a narcissist, probably. Oh, she's not naked, she's just got a peachy coloured dress on. Yeah, so, I mean, that's where it comes from, or it comes from the relationships that we've had, romantic relationships or other kind of relationships since then. But it's about our nervous system and it's about our attachment styles and stuff like that, and it's okay. I think a lot of us have been, and don't forget, a lot of those abusive, narcissist, detached kind of people have been the ones speaking out in the spiritual world too. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that are like, don't be this and don't be that, and like, you don't need to be connection. Just like you don't need to be connected. Don't be needy. Just, there's a lot of that out there, and you've got to know that those teachers are the ones that are detached. They're the ones that are avoidant. They are. So we can't believe them. Yeah. It's a shame. But we still deserve love and we know it. And we can have it. I know I've got when I read about the secure attached, it's like, well, I do that in relationships and I do that in relationships and I do talk about things and I'm upfront in that and I do pick up on the cues and then I soothe them and all of that and I don't react to it and I don't project on them. And it's like, reading about the secure ones, I am that now. I recognize that I wasn't that. But I recognize that some of my behaviors now, especially around that one, is in my past now, so I'm saying that one, some of my behaviors have been the anxious type still, stuck on that and all of that. Yeah, it's all about the wounds themselves and all of it. So we don't need to like say they're the devil or anything like that, Nor do we need to try and have a relationship with them now. Whether we're talking about parents or romantic partners. Oh, definitely read the book then, Elise, because that you'll gain insights on that. Yeah, of why you are drawn to the avoidant type. I'm sure you'll be able to tell us once you've read it. I'm sure you'll find out. I mean, it's got it comes at it from every angle and all of that. And also saying that you don't need to turn yourself into a secure one either. You just need to be with someone that's secure. Because you're not going to have the insecurities if someone's just there for you, you know? And that has been coming out in the pick a card reads. If any of you have been getting the deeper dives, that's been coming out a lot. Is especially in the how's it going to be you two together part of it. The red flags that come up, it's like you just need to be aware of that and in each other and communicate that and you know, show each other that you are you're there for them when you pick up on those cues and all of that kind of thing. So it has been coming out a lot in those. Keep on trying to prove yourself. Do you? Still trying to get that? You see, and that's what the anxious ones do. We constantly try and reconnect, and we constantly try and reconnect, and we're trying to get that back. We're trying to get what has never been there back. Get that connection back from someone that can't. They just can't. I gave up. Gave up on my parents. After many years of trying. Many years of being there and trying and talking to them about it, but it's just exactly the same as the romantic relationships with the avoidance. They just can't even go there. Can't even go there. My ex-husband was an avoidant. Parents. I'm trying to think if there's a healthy relationship apart from Jared that I've been in. No. Yeah, you can't please people that are unhappy. You just can't. You can't. That's part of the self-love is true, that we've got to make ourselves happy, you know. Yeah, so there we go. That's what I got for you today. 2 hours of that. Get the book, everybody. Get it straight away. And I guess I'll make videos now. I'll make a pick a card read and just see how much it changes. I do have a pick a card tarot full Celtic cross reading to put out tonight. That's already been done. I'll make another one today for on Friday. You're very welcome. Thanks everyone for coming along. Thanks for sticking with it. And yeah, I'm excited as to where this will go now, because I was wondering, you know, I was wondering, is like twin flames going to get together and then I'm going to be the guide for that? But obviously no, it's more back to before I even believed in twin flames, the reality of it. It's just a dysfunctional relationship, which makes it so much easier because it puts us in charge of it, which is why the Emperor card has been coming out so much. The Emperor's in charge, can take control of something, right? And that gives us our power back. Yay! It's a further extension to empowerment. Very cool. So, thanks everyone for coming along. Thank you for your donations. Check out that pick a card read later on, and I will see you in 2 days' time. Let's do this all over again in 2 days' time. See what we've got. See if I'll go on any dates or something. See what we find out from there. Bye. Have a good one.